How to create strategies to develop listening and speaking skills. That is a presentation for consider some important facts to, to improve our abilities to teach and learn through the speaking and listening skills. How everyone know, there are four skills to develop and learning to a new language, that is through the listening skills, speaking skills, reading and writing. In this case, we are going to share and study two ways to improve our output and input, speaking and listening. There are three important facts that the Victoria State in Australia made reference. That is, through the speaking and listening, two can improve oral language, expressive language, and receptive language. That is, that skills make reference to an accurate way to have communication. To design this VLO, take into account four main objectives. That is, four different ways to improve and take advantage of the literature and resources and tools to help you to understand better and have a different conception about how to teach and how to learn through the listening and speaking skills. We have take advantage of the literature studied because thanks for them we have the opportunity to learn and take into account how important is listening and speaking in and teaching and learning process. For this reason, and we have incorporated inside this tool the importance and listening skills and speaking skills, and resume a listening and speaking skills as a various formal and informal ways oral language is used. But in conclusion, we have to consider this tool as a main to teach better in our process of learning. There are many ways to build an effective listening practice in classroom. We have researched 6 different ways to do it. For instance, intensive listening, selective listening, iterative listening, and extensive listening, responsible listening, and autonomous listening. Each one have their own characteristic. In fact, if the teacher is responsible to consider the best way to teach their students and select the best method, and they are disposable to select. For instance, if you have to consider the level each student to select the material, but we have to consider the tools that the internet offer us to find the topics that the students understand better. So we have take into account other important facts like the materials, level of students, and the time. The important that the teacher have must consider the best way to teach their students. Each teacher can use different materials to build and design his classes. In this case, we have to expose you seven different materials you can take into account to build your classes. Listening to a conversation, listening to teacher prompts, listening to a broadcast, listening to poems or songs, listening to an audio recording, and listening to presentation, and listening to stories. There are many ways you can use to make the class dynamic and entertainment. The most important thing to consider is the students can listen in all the time in different way, different topics, and depends their preference. In addition, material must be authentic. That is an important fact. The issues, the topics, the difference between subjects can be their difference and effective process. As a normal class, to develop speaking skills, we have to prepare our class. However, to develop speaking skills, you have to take into account this process that was designed step by step to achieve the students can speak in the classroom depends of different ways that the teacher select. In this case, we are going to share with you and step by step name it topic by tax per tax phase. Each means different benefits, tax phase, learners carry out the passing groups, and post-take phase. This phase must involve the teacher giving feedback and language used during the activity. The important in this case is that the students have to interchange ideas with other students. Only with ingredients, only we have topic and news, only you have to consider the students can use their own ideas, and you can use internet to suppose a dialogue between the students or give each one a role in a performance. That depends the creative and imagination of the teacher, but you can't consider this face to face. You have to consider that communication is not only speak face to face among the students. We have to consider other purpose, other methods to do, and classes could be more interactive. You can, for instance, make a presentation, explanation, and expose a different point of view. Can be only on phrases, only link the words and read loud. Maybe is an use way to the students hold big confidence and feel that it really use the English. You can use different elements that the internet offers us. Nowadays, it's important to have always present in our teaching exercise. For instance, in this slide is speaking about works in groups, present vocabulary and structures, and different ways you can use. It depends of your creativity. So, in conclusion, and the most important is you have confidence between students that acquire class by class and competence to make an idea and be uh, able to express themselves. Thanks for watching, and finally, this is the reference.